The Google Pixel 7a after a few days now, and yeah, don't buy this. Don't buy it. You know, there's going to be an asterisk to that. I've seen a lot of videos, and rightfully so, saying don't buy it yet, kind of a wait and see type attitude, and that's going to be certainly the way to go with this one. There's a lot of promise here with this device. I think they nailed a lot of things. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but there's so many question marks with performance, with the mainly with the battery life, and with my situation with the modem and just having such poor cellular connection here on this, that there are enough question marks that I think that you shouldn't be rushing to go ahead and buy a Pixel 7a, and that's very disappointing for a bunch of different reasons. Mainly, I think the 6a was one of the best devices of last year. I still love my 6a. Phenomenal phone. That was the right direction, the right price, the right feature set, the right choices they made to get to the price point that they wound up at. I love that phone. The 6a is my favorite, but this one is not a worthy successor as it stands right now. Let's take it in parts. Number one, the most frustrating one to me, and I can fully, listen, I'm going to go on record and hope that it's my unit that's the problem. That I just got a bum modem for whatever reason. But, given their history with the Exynos modems, and the way that connectivity has gone sometimes on these Pixel devices, I'm not holding my breath and thinking that it's just mine. It might be a legitimate issue here. And every time I think, oh, it's good, I got good connection, whatever, it'll come up and bite me. I was out driving in a good signal area. The other two phones I'm working on the comparison video between this and the A54, good strong signal. Had my iPhone 14 on me, good strong signal. I go to respond to a work Slack message on here that I had to get back to in a short amount of time, and I go to answer the Slack message, and it gives me the exclamation point, no signal, and I could not send the message. Absolutely the most frustrating thing that you could possibly imagine. I wanted to throw this phone out the window. Out the window. I know I had some comments on the other video that I did, and I know it was people trying to be helpful, saying that, well, sometimes the indicated signal strength isn't real. You got to go into settings. Well, listen to me. I've been complaining about phones since your grandfather was in diapers. This phone was disconnected. If you're not able to send text messages, if you're not able to make calls, if you're not able to send other messages through Slack or other messenger services, you are disconnected. It's not a signal strength indication issue. It is you're offline. That's a problem in high areas. And I will watch this bar bounce back and forth like I did last night between nearly full and all the way down to the exclamation point for no service for no reason. I am standing in place. Very strange. Again, I'm willing to discount that and say that's a me problem. Maybe that's just my unit. Fine, whatever. Because if you go on the Pixel subreddit, people will just lose their minds if you don't absolutely love the device, and they say, "Oh well, it's adaptive modem, adaptive 5G. It's determining how you use 5G, and it's going to take a week or 10 days to come in there." Well, let's talk about things that I do think are universal, because I've seen several people that I've spoken with who have had review units that have had them longer, that the battery never really comes in for them, and I could confirm that. I am like at 63% so far today, and not a lot of screen on time because I was not happy with this phone today. 63%, we're talking just over an hour of screen on time today so far, and I do think a lot of that is the modem struggling to maintain connectivity and draining the battery. Because when I go into settings and look at my battery settings, mobile network pops up. Every Google device, when I start having some sort of battery drain, and I go into battery and see what is using the percentages of the battery life, mobile network pops up there. It happened with the Pixel 6. It happened a little bit with the 6a until they fixed it, and now it's happening with my 7a. They cannot figure out that battery drain when it comes to the mobile network and the modems, whatever it is. They can say it's a server-side fix, they did this thing, they did whatever. It just doesn't seem like they could get their act together. And when you pair that with the battery life that just hasn't been there with the Tensor 2, period, ended. Battery life was okay on my Pixel 7 Pro. Okay. It kind of went toe-to-toe with some of the other flagships. It did 6 hours roughly, but it was never outstanding on that device. My battery life on this has been poor. My battery life on my Pixel 6 was poor to start, but it took them 18 months. If you have a Pixel 6 now, your battery life is insanely good. Insanely good. So it took them 18 months to lock in and optimize the first generation tensor in order to get the battery life that we expected from the beginning. I don't think they've done that with the G2 yet. It just isn't there. I have not seen a device or used a device with a G2 in it that has had above average battery life that you'd expect. And the Pixel 7 Pro got away with it because they were charging less money. If you're charging me $800 and giving me a premium build and a flagship level-esque experience for $800 as opposed to Samsung charging me $1,300, hey, guess what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to cut you some slack. You want to know why? Because you're helping me out. But on the Pixel 7a, they're not helping you out anymore. $500 for this? No. You got to lock that battery in to where at least I could get 5.5, 6 hours of screen on time, if not longer, because you're not competing against flagships that are getting that in this price range. You're competing against mid-rangers who can deliver that battery life. I have not got the overheating. I mean, that's good news. I have not had the overheating issue that a lot of people have had. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't doubt it. You know, it's an Exynos processor at its core, so I don't doubt the fact that there is overheating going on. Plus, you got the metal sides here where it'll kind of dissipate heat and you'll feel it. Mine got hot during setup. That was it. But I think it is absolutely healthy, especially at this price, $500, to have a wait-and-see attitude and see what they fix. Because they won't say anything, then 2 months later in a patch note, they say, oh yeah, by the way, all those people that are having problems with connectivity, oh yeah, we fixed that. Then you know what? Then we come back and we revisit this phone and think about going ahead and picking it up. I had a weird Twitter bug that it was an awful jittery Twitter experience that if you pull up the keyboard in Twitter in your DMs and you scroll that way, it actually smooths it out, and then it fixed it. I have a weird bug that I'll show you here on Facebook. Let's see if I can kind of, the top here. I'm going to pull up Facebook. We get the focus, right? See that? Oh, hold on. We'll try to get it to do it. But if you see that, the first time you pull up Facebook, it's tough to tell. I don't want to try to get anybody's names in here. But the first time you pull up Facebook, you see something missing there at the top? Yeah. Okay, then you swipe up. Then you go back in. Oh, then there's your bar that flips over. Just little weird glitches that are kind of pixel-esque glitches, pixel quirks, if you will, that people are going to be used to if you're used to a Pixel device. But if you're somebody new, I think this would be off-putting. I want this to be a success. Like I said, the 6A was one of my favorite devices of last year, but this isn't anywhere near that right now, especially for the money. This has a lot of work to be done. I don't think this was ready for prime time. I don't think that the second generation Tensor was ready for prime time, but they knew people would eat their lunch if it wasn't ready for the launch of their next generation devices. Since Snapdragon is just churning them out year after year, they're going to have the next Snapdragon, this 8, Gen 2, 3, whatever they're going to go to, they're going to have one ready to go. So Google would have felt silly if they didn't have one ready to go. But this one is not nearly as well optimized as they finally got the original G1 Tensor locked into. I just wouldn't buy this right now. I would absolutely wait and see. We're going to have the comparison. And what I'm going to do for the comparison with the A54 and some of the other devices, I'm going to kind of discount my complaints. I will log my complaints. I will make them known to you. But then I'm going to get down to the actual performance and the build and some of the other stuff and compare that to the A54. Because this thing has absolute definite advantages. It is a beautiful build. Fantastic. Love the performance on it. Bunch of other things. But it has a lot of weaknesses that it shouldn't have at $500 compared to some of the competition that now is coming in at $375 or $400. But wait and see. Wait and see for sure. It certainly doesn't have my vote of confidence right now. And if you use it and you live with it, especially your low cell signal area, you're going to be frustrated. When you try to get that work call or that family call, you're trying to get that WhatsApp message out. So many times yesterday, I'm trying to get a WhatsApp message out. I'm getting a little clock because it can't send it. Super, super frustrating. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.